Yo, what up? It's AaroniMoses, and we are going to be talking about being balanced. Being balanced as a spiritualist. Now, I'm going to invite a friend of mine in order to enhance your experience as my loved one, as my viewer, and as someone who needs to take this information in. Because a lot of people do not think that we wake up and brush our teeth and wash our asses and do what we need to be doing in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So I think I did it correctly. If I didn't, correct me. Zach, did you get the invite? I'm pretty sure you did. Oh no, yeah, you did. I think you did. What's up, Paula? What's up, Renee? Okay, I didn't do it correctly. I thought you got the invite. What's up, Carrie? I added you. I'm trying to figure out. I thought I did it. Yup, I invited you. If you're having issues with being added to the live, let me know. Right.
Hey,
Hey, what's up, man?
so I was trying to get this the live rolling on my computer, but
Mhm.
but I guess I can't get the invitation on the computer. So my sister has a split house, so I had to like run downstairs, and as I was running, I jumped on this box, so I slid through the background, and like landed on my ass, and then jumped back up, like ran to the other side, got my phone, and then went over here. So I did a nice, fun little adventure to get here. I'm really glad
Cool,
we're
man.
having this conversation. Really excited.
I am too, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining.
Yeah, of course. So I guess for a second or two, I'm gonna share it a couple places and just say hi to everybody
Mhm.
that's here. Hey everyone, I see a couple people that are here, and I'm glad to see that you're here. Smiling faces, Donna. Hi. I haven't done a live in forever.
Mm.
I've kind of just been sticking to recording on Zoom or just recording outside of Facebook. But this
Mhm.
is interesting. I thought, why not dabble again? Um, is there anything while I share, if you'd like to share anything, specific things that you offer or anything going down?
Oh, I mean, of course, I'm a reader. I'm a seer. I do a lot of spell work for my loved ones. I specialize in money rituals. I specialize in revenge, rituals. That's just been, I mean, personally, I'm okay with doing them, but I never really considered myself somebody to have that. But people have told me, hey, there's a racist person at my job. I need you to help me to get them off my back. And I'm like, oh, for real? Yeah, I'll hook you up. So I mean, I pretty much do everything. I don't like to limit myself as to what how I can serve the people. But I do my thing. I try.
And when you offer those things to people, what's a typical experience that they have from that sharing of yours?
Well, it really especially with the abundance spells, it really depends on what they do in their personal life. So for one example, I'll give you, one person was telling me that they needed some financial help and they didn't exactly understand how magic works. And I asked them, what do you do with your normal life? And she was telling me, well, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I do this, I do that. And I asked, like, you don't go out the house? Like, that's not how it's gonna work. And she was like, so what do you think I should do? And I said, do anything, buy some scratch offs, go outside, talk to some people. And what happened was, a pipe bursted in her apartment months before. And she got free rent for 3 months. And that wasn't my aim, but that's, how it happened.
So
So
you
you
feel
have
like a
to,
lot of coincidences, or like I guess you could say coincidences that materialize what it is that you're aiming for when you do one of these spells for somebody.
no, I mean, the whole point of that was you have to understand what goes on. You have to know how to use the energy when I give you the gifts. That was, I mean, that was the whole point.
Mm,
For for one of my loved ones, I did a revenge ritual for them. Somebody was trying to get them to quit their job that they were working, and the lady ended up quitting her job
mm,
because she continuously sending her all this negative energy, and everything that she put into my loved one, she received that herself.
mm,
So it depends on how you use the energy, because it's a gift. When I do these things for the people, it's a gift, but you still have to live accordingly.
So when you
You still
speak
have
of
to.
revenge ritual, you're basically saying, well, what I hear is, and tell me whatever you say. Uh, you tell me what you say. What I hear is
Mhm.
that a revenge ritual is kind of like a reflection, or like a reflection of the feeling, or motivation or intention behind someone actually kind of going back to them.
Correct, 100% correct. Say if you said, Aaron Moses, I need you to do this for me. This person's picking on me. If I did it and you were lying, the bad thing would happen to you. The
Mm,
energy that you wanted me to put into another person, it would happen to you because you lied. So it's not it's a mirror. It's a mirror spell, pretty much.
mm. So when you speak of energy, maybe you could explain what you mean by energy, if you like. What do you mean by magic or energy, and how you see it in order to be able to use it.
Well, the definition of magic is the manipulation of the universal laws and what is there presented for us as a standard. Okay. For the greatest magicians in contemporary society are lawyers because they bend the laws that society has conformed to. That's what magic is.
Mm,
Taking something that was already there and using it for what it was not intended for, or what fate did not intend.
Mm. So it's interesting because there's different ways that people can relate with one another, and through that relation, I guess different expectations are created. And sometimes expectations are created that make people relate to each other a certain way. So like if someone thinks like you're the woman in my relationship and you're gonna act like this, then that woman has to agree with the way you are creating the relationship between both of you. So would you say there's a particular, would you say that's magic?
Is it magic if you convince somebody to conform to your lifestyle?
Exactly. Yeah, because you were talking about lawyers, so that's why I try to make that comparison in
I
order
would
to
say
refine it better.
I would say yes and no. I would say no because they have to agree to that contract.
Hmm.
So no. But yes, if I would say in a relationship, that would be deception. I would say that deception is a form of magic, but that's just not what I do. But I would say yes
Mm. That's interesting
on that.
because that person doing that to that person, so the man doing it to that woman, they might be in a
Mhm.
deception kind of perspective, but that's interesting because their perspective might actually be that deception. So they might actually think what they're doing is right. And then you can actually see from that perspective, there could be societies based on that type of experience. So everyone born in that society is born into that experience of relationship, that person is looked at as having a deception or as looked at as deceiving somebody. You get what I'm saying?
I do. I mean, I do. So when two people come together, there's automatically a contract. There's automatically laws. Laws are the most natural thing that human beings can create. Laws. Okay. So
When you
when
wait,
two
when you
people
say
come to
law, what in
Mhm.
particular do you mean?
Contracts,
So okay, yeah. So contract could be like that man, getting into a contract with that woman where they accept that type of relation.
right?
Okay.
Unspoken or spoken. You and I, you and I talking, we already know there are certain words that we should not be calling each other. That's a law. That's something that we were born into this. We already know. Just don't do that.
Well, so
That's a
yesterday I
law.
was speaking to somebody and they got upset with me over something that I did, and they got
Hmm.
offended. And what I said to them is when you get offended, you can act offended and you can become offensive. So when she
Hmm.
gets offended, she can act offended and get offensive, or she can realize that it's her choice to accept anything that I'm doing. And if she realizes that it's her choice, there's no need to get offended. What she could do in that moment is just distance herself and look at me like, okay, well, if that's how you are, if that's what you're offering, then I'm not interested in that offer. So, so in that perspective, um, how that relates with what we were just saying.
How does that relate?
Yeah, I think that relates. Like, I kind of dropped my thought as soon as I said
Well,
that.
that's her personal culture. That's a emotional response.
And that's what I was
So,
trying to say, because what you were saying is there's a certain way that we already know. But what I'm trying to say is
Mhm.
possibly this way that we know is actually something we learn through our development in some societies. Like, I know some people from Jamaica, and like they are, they talk about vibes when they're born, I think, because like I know a couple people from there and they know vibes. And it's like, you're born in America, at least the place I was born. I didn't know about vibes, until I went to a ceremony and really began. Until I started being mentored by certain people, I didn't know anything about vibes. And I literally didn't feel vibes. I didn't feel what it even meant. Like I could say, "Oh yeah, I'm being in the vibe," or like I could like pretend to jump into that word, but like, so what I'm trying to say is these things might not even be embodied in the person. So do you think that there's magic? I know there's magic that can pull two people together of the same type of relationship. So you can help someone get into contract with someone that's also looking for the contract, probably. Maybe that's like one of the ways that someone can create magic for like wealth. like connecting to someone that is willing to connect with them in that same type of relation they're willing to offer. Maybe that might be a way someone's willing to increase their wealth.
Oh, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking.
But
My
huh?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, I guess I'm trying to see the perspective of how magic is looked at, because I know there's embodiments that we grow into in every moment. Like I'm always growing into different embodiments. So the girl that was upset with me yesterday, I didn't look at her like she was mean or wrong or whatever. In that moment when she was attacking me, when I felt attacked, I was feeling it, but I was trying to maintain my serenity and offer guidance of, look, you have a choice here, and this is like what I was offering her is her power, so that she didn't have to be feeling like I was taking it away from her.
She felt she was at a point. You have active listening and passive listening. So she was at a point where she was hearing your message, but however she was triggered, she got in her feelings. She got in her feelings, and she was no longer accepting your information. And it wasn't her response was not going to be, it wasn't going into her logical brain. At
Yeah.
some point, it stopped.
Yes.
She got into feelings.
Yes.
She didn't give herself the choice to respond logically anymore, because she just stopped hearing. She already knew what she was going to say before you even got done speaking. She was passively listening.
Yeah, so I guess the reason why I bring that up is because in that position that she was at, she, the more I grow into this, the more I feel like I become aware of my own lack of integrity at certain moments, or I become lack of integrity, meaning either I'm not stepping into the power that I already have, that's available to me, or I'm not ensuring that the person in front of me has their power. So if someone were to come up to you and feel like they got attacked and you were to help them in that sense, then what I feel like is maybe you'd be pushing the person attacking, because what if they are lacking integrity when they come up to you but they don't know it? They're coming up to you and they don't know that they're lacking integrity, but they're asking for magic, for revenge. But it's really them that's feeling defensive, and they don't necessarily have any guidance to show them out of that defensiveness.
They don't. I read the situation first. Before I do it, I make sure that the person is not lying. I make sure that they're not in their feelings. I make sure that this person is actually a bully. I make sure that the person is really doing what needs to be done for them to get back what they've been putting out. I don't just do.
Okay.
I just do it.
Yeah, so I guess that's cool that you try to have as much insight as possible. And I wasn't talking about you in this circumstance. I was talking more along the lines of like if you were to do that for someone. Yeah, like if you were to give that to someone, then how would that impact, like if they didn't even know that they were the one lacking integrity? I guess maybe what it would do possibly is, in a sense, it would go back on them, but it would go back on them in a way to enlighten them to realize the lack of integrity that they had, that they didn't even realize that they had. So basically, they come to you, they say, this fucked up situation, I need your help. And then you give it to them. And then what help that they receive is not the situation being cleared, but really them being cleared so that they can see the situation from a better vantage point.
I would tell them, you're lying. You're in your feelings. You're the one who's causing this. That's not what's going on. I'm not doing this. Don't send me the money. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that's good.
You
Because
need to get out
that's
your
you
feelings.
keeping your integrity. That's you not wanting to, you know what's right. And you're being honest with them, and you're not just saying no thanks, but you're also telling them, look, this is... So in a sense, you're also kind of like a spiritual guidance system. Like you're offering spiritual guidance.
Yep.
Did you hear me? I don't know if it was
Yeah,
my internet or your internet, but did you hear the last thing I just said?
I heard that you said I was offering spiritual guidance.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's beautiful. So, I think that this is so beautiful because I know a lot of people hear magic, but it's like a very abstract thing, a very like oh like magic, you know, or maybe people are scared of it. Um, could you share like getting in balance with magic as the first off, guys? Um, if it would be so appreciated if you could share this video
I'll share it.
to
Yeah.
huh?
Oh, I was agreeing.
Oh yes,
Go
yes,
ahead.
please, guys, share this video to the different groups that you'd like or the people that you'd like to bring into as like you've heard so far what we're going into. Appreciated if you share so that we can reach to more people. What we're going to be getting into now is about well, if Aaron's ready for this, is about going into balance with magic, which is a very interesting thing I haven't really heard about before. So we're gonna give this a minute or so for you guys to share. So appreciated. Maybe just outreach to one person you know, or share in a group, or whatever you'd like to do. But or don't. You know, you don't have to. But if you want to, then you certainly can. Thank you, Brenda. And hi,
Hey, what's up,
is that
girl?
um so fascinating. It's so fascinating in all the ways that you can explore this life. Farrell, Brenda,
Mm,
thank you for sharing. That's so awesome.
so being in balance with the magic. So we have to break down what magic I mean, we've already discussed what magic is, manipulation of the laws, manipulation of the natural elements. Magic to perform magic, you have to have emotion, intention, a goal. You have to have the mental tools, what we like to call wisdom. All right. You have to have a clear outcome. When any of those are not in alignment with what your vibration currently is, if you're doing something that is if you're doing something that is outside of your vibration, that's where we have that imbalance. You can only ideally attract what you're vibrating on. Okay. If you're if you want, say, if you want $1 million, say you're trying to manifest $1 million. If you don't know how to handle $1 million, you might get it, but it might kill you because you're not in that wave, you're not in that club. So if you do it, it might be successful, but it's not going to be $1 million. So if you say, universe, I want $1 million, you do your spell, you light your candle, you do whatever you want to do, that $1 million could be worse than you manifesting $1. You get what I'm saying? If you want this, if you want this Mustang, you want this Ferrari, that car could be worse for you than a beat up Honda, than a 1997 Honda Accord. It could be worse than that. So you have to match vibrations with the thing that you're trying to manifest. All right.
So how
That's where
when
the
you think of
imbalance.
matching vibrations, when I think of manifesting, what I think of is like you can try to manifest material or you can try to
Mhm.
manifest experience. Because if you manifest
Yeah.
experience, I think you're acknowledging the feelings of the moment that you're looking for. What do you think about manifesting? Okay, my question is, what um, way do you have to know that what you're doing is in complete alignment?
Well, what can you do to know what you're doing is in complete alignment? If you know you can handle it, if you know you're not gonna fuck it up.
Hmm.
If you
And
know
when you
it's not
think of
going to destroy
manifest,
you,
like, okay, so
and you know
say
you're not going to destroy,
what you're saying.
if you know it's not going to destroy you, and you know if you have that confidence, number one, if you have the confidence to know that it's not going to destroy you, and you're not going to destroy it, and nobody that you love or nobody at all is going to get hurt by you having this thing or this experience.
Mm. And also, when you think of gaining something that's in alignment to you, how do you feel the self-development aspect of it uh, turns out?
Perfect. Perfect. I b- well, with my magic, with my loved ones, I'm not gonna do any magic for you if you're not gonna work on yourself first, because you don't have it because you don't want it, because you're not it. So you have to raise your vibration first. The reason you don't have it is because you're not it, because you're not on that vibration. So when anything I do magically, and I don't do these things in my life at all ever, because I'm not a criminal. Don't steal, don't lie, don't cheat, don't deceive, don't speak ill about the dead. 48 laws of Ma'at. Do not do these things. Notice I said the 48, not the 42. There's six more that you guys aren't getting, okay? Because that's not mainstream. You got to go to her to get those extra six.
What are the
But
48, 42? What is that in reference of?
Ma'at, um,
What's ma'at?
it who is Ma'at? Ma'at is the god is that judges your heart on the scale in ancient Egypt.
Mm.
She looks like Isis, but she has the wings, and she's on her knee. I think it's the right knee. But there's different laws. I will not steal. I will not speak ill of the dead. I will not. There's different laws that you have to.
And so it's embodying those different laws that allows you
Hmm.
to okay, keep going. This is beautiful. So like when you're so that is that something you check like a lot to like recapture ways you've been? Do you reflect on that at all, or do you how do you use
I
those?
do. I just make sure you. It's really you just have to be righteous. You just. It's really not hard to do. Just don't talk ill about the dead. Don't do anything weird with children. Don't steal, don't lie, don't start fights, don't gossip, don't spread rumors. There's 42 of them that that are mainstream, but there's six more that are missing that I can't speak about. But
It's so
um
beautiful what you're saying. I see it like if you're honest, if you are just freaking raw and honest with every moment, like what's gonna happen is you are going to create something beautiful. And it's because that's having integrity. When you're honest, you're having integrity with
right,
what you want and with what's happening in this moment. Like maybe you're with a girl and you're scared of something happening, so you tell her, no, we need to do this. And what happens is she's like, oh, we need to do that. And then she accepts it, and that's her lacking integrity because you were fearful when you told her that. And when she gains integrity, she's like, no, that's not what we're doing. And she says it to you, and then you have to recap. You have to have integrity in that moment to be like, why? And then you go back into where you were, see the fear that you were coming from, and recognize, okay, that's not what we're doing. So it's like this, the woman from last night did something righteous. She was honest. When I explained to her the difference between stupid and silly, she was like, wow. She was like, I'm annoyed how right you are. That's what she said. And I was like, I was sitting back, I was like laughing a little bit. I was like, wow, it's like a silly way of saying it, but that's cool because she's being so fucking honest.
right. So I mean, to continue on my point, it's pretty much raising your vibration because I tell people to the affirmation that I like to use is I am raising my vibration to do these things. My vibration is in alignment with these things. So don't lie, don't steal, don't eat at McDonald's, don't have sex with strangers. Just, I mean, that's not a bad thing. Having sex with strangers is not a bad thing. But just making sure that you stay clean if you want to fast, if you want to if you want to give back to the homeless, if you want to bless some money and give it and feed the people, and if somebody needs your help, if they're not hurting you,
I think what
help
you just
them.
said though is so powerful Because at certain moments, maybe the idea of not having sex with anyone might be very powerful for you. Maybe the
Yes.
idea of being only interested in one girl, maybe that can develop something in you. Maybe if you say you're not interested in sleeping around, maybe you begin to develop a way to not create sexuality between you and any other person that you could create that with. And that allows you to create a new self-mastery. And when you're in that moment of creating that self-mastery, you will intuitively know that now is a time that I don't want to be doing that, and instead I want to be doing this. And that's going to give you a whole new perspective on life, because in those moments when you're not being sexual with girls, and you're not allowing it, you're going to acknowledge the sexual energy, you're going to cancel it out, and you're going to see them in a different way than you've seen a girl before. So I think these steadfast laws, I think some of them are very real. Like the basis is you don't want to attack someone. So integrity is recognizing how, like, to safeguard that from happening, how to resolve the conflict. I think that's like a steadfast law. I totally agree. So if I want to go on to the next thing, which is commitments and manifesting commitments and looking at that from like a balanced point of view. But if you want to go anywhere before that, and if that means another 10-minute talk of something else, you can totally do that. I'm interested.
I came in guns loaded, man. I really wanted to just talk about one thing. Commitments.
Oh yeah, okay.
Commitment.
So no. If you want to talk about that one thing, let's go. I'm down.
All right, guys.
Oh, it's getting juicy, guys. Wait. I think, guys, we should give it a minute, and I think if anyone wants to share it out for his juiciness, we should let it share it out. But maybe 20 seconds will give anyone that just joined. If you want to give the caption for what's about to go down.
Hashtag when being real goes wrong. I wish I had my other phone, man. I let somebody borrow my iPhone charger, and
oh,
man, they don't understand what's going on.
I love how I say there's going to be a pause for 20 seconds and then it drops people. I'm like, okay, all right, that's funny how that works. I guess my metaphysical skills aren't working.
And what you do? What happened yesterday? I was so on your side. Like, what? What happened?
Yeah, right. In the end, this is just for sharing the conversation out to more people. But that is.
We're gonna do it. Let me put my tripod up real quick.
Oh.
Okay, so. Huh?
Yeah, because Pharaoh said semen retention and tantra can help manifest also. There's some really cool, actually what got me like started was swaying. Swaying is another powerful tool. Swaying is a really powerful tool. I had a pretty interesting experience with that I'll save for another time. But swaying is a pretty powerful tool. Also using your pelvic muscle. Mantak Chia and someone that works with him, they have a course, a really big one, that's about tantra and about building sexual energy, and you feel a certain type of sexual energy that you don't feel on a day-to-day, that you don't feel typically. Now, do I go with everything that Mantak Chia says about? No, he talks about like holding the muscle underneath your balls, or the muscle, your PC muscle. He talks about that. I don't necessarily believe in that, but you guys, you do what you want. Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, it definitely works, bro. It definitely works. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I want to go into this. I'm a normal. Well, for the most part, I try to be myself, but a lot of people want me to be better than them. I'm not better than you. I am you. I try to make sure that you are comfortable in your skin by my example. Now, my sister, I had a long talk with her yesterday. That was very interesting. Shout out to her. She doesn't think that I should be indulging in the world of business. She thinks I'm a clout chaser. Now, I'm going to drink my alkaline vodka.
Just getting started, fellas and ladies.
So I can go in. So now we're gonna use this word, business. Business is unnatural. Okay. I don't know what you do with your life. I like business because business makes money. I have a child. I have bills. This Wi-Fi that I'm using right now, it's not free. Okay. And if I don't do business, guess what I'm gonna have to do? Work for somebody else who does business a lot better than I do. So, with that being said, I'm gonna have to make things cook in my kitchen, so I don't have to be a chef in somebody else's restaurant. That's just how I work. So, business is unnatural. Being balanced, being spiritual, and having money, being spiritual and going into that industry is not easy at all. Marketing and speaking to people and mixing my energies with other people's energies in the language of business, it's not easy. It's not always fun, but it's always necessary if I always don't want to have a job.
Well, when you
So
say it's not easy, what do you feel like it's not easy about it?
what's not because it's a 24-hour job. I mean, if I wanted to work a normal job, all I have to do is show up for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Owning your own business is a 24-hour job. That part, um, everything, accounting, marketing, advertisement, branding, networking, everything that goes along with business,
Yeah, for a
keeping
while,
everything.
I studied programs, I studied gurus, I went through all this crazy stuff to really understand how to make business. And in that moment, I spoke to one of my old friends, Francisco, and I was like, dude, I'm so cold. And that's actually what began a lot of my spiritual development, was realizing how freaking cold. Like, I was trying to
Quote as
get
an
leads or trying to
emotional
make money or trying to offer things or trying to
or
make things happen. I studied copywriting. I studied persuasion. I studied that crap. And I was like, man, I don't even want to persuade. I don't want to do copywriting. I don't want anything like that. So I get what you're saying. I get that.
you can't being cold and being spiritual, that doesn't make like having being apathetic and being spiritual, owning that does not mix. You have to have a great balance. You have to have a beautiful mind to do both.
That
I'm
open
telling you,
heart.
it's not easy at all. Just, I mean, the people who I work for, they try to present themselves as one thing, but they're a business. They can care about you so much. Everybody that I interact with, I call them my loved ones for a reason because when things happen to them, I feel horribly. But then people come to me for things that are going to affect my child negatively. So I can't appeal to them and it hurts me. This is why I'm setting myself up so I can just give and give. And I don't have to care. I don't have to check bank accounts. I don't have to do those things because I don't want to have to tell people I can't help them because I have bills. That's not, that's not spiritual. That hurts, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It hurts a lot. And
There's
I have
this
to
one
deal.
woman that does coaching, and she was doing coaching like a year ago or so, and she was all about like connecting with people, all about like making herself look like she's very loving and everything. And I reached out to her one day, and I didn't have money to be supported by her, but I reached out and I was like trying to offer my guidance, and I actually shared with her one of these books that I was reading, and she said, "Wow, that book is powerful. I'd like to share it with a client of mine." And she shared it with a client of hers, and like I just wanted to gain some insight from her, and she never offered like an hour or said like, hey, you could pay me $120 and I'll spend an hour with you or something like that she could have. Instead, she looked at me like, you're not going to my retreat and I'm not serving anything to you. And it's like this openness of realizing that like maybe I just wanted an hour of the empowerment that you have to be shared upon me a little bit.
Mm.
It's like the ability to empower someone, like giving a fishing net to someone is different than getting them a fish. And I was talking to my mom the other day about tools. And if you give someone a tool, they get the perspective behind that tool. They get the life that created that tool. So like if
Right.
you take a fishing net, you start using it, you're going to start paying attention to the fish everywhere. You're going to start knowing when they're going to be where. You're going to start understanding the movement of the water. You're going to gain the perspective of the person that made the fishing net, because that person was innovative and he was going with the flow. They were going with the flow of nature, and they got it and they created a fishing net. So it's like, it's just like offering these small tools to people that are asking for help, realizing that the help you can offer them is in their empowerment, in their mindset.
Correct. That's true. That part. Yeah, that's the whole purpose. Just like I told my two girlfriends ago. I'm trying to buy my soul back from the devil. And she was like, "What? You sold your soul to the devil?" I'm like, "It's a metaphor. Relax. I'm just trying to. I want to put. I want to position myself so I don't have to reject anybody. I want to help everyone. That's what I want to do all day. I want to wake up, drink my 64 ounces of water, help people, go to sleep. That's all I want to do. But I can't as long as I'm subjected to what I'm doing with my life right now. As long as I have a name and a number.
So
But
with that, how do you feel you're finding balance?
how do I find balance in that? Making sure that making sure that I take care of my people. But really, I'm gonna give you this, bro. When I was born, most of my people were in poverty. And the fact that they're not makes it so much easier. I don't have to get my mom out the hood. I don't have to get my sister out the hood. I take this money and I give it to my sister. She's gonna get her master's. How old am I? She is 22. She just turned 22 February 2nd. I give her the money. I give the guy who gives me rides every day after work, I give him the money. I send my mom $20. I give my auntie that was helping me with my son. I give her like $50, every check. I make sure to spread my love. That's how I keep my balance. My other sister, she's in school right now. I'm about to buy her a new dresser and some shoes. I make sure to spread my love. I
Mm,
make sure people know that if you come to me and you ask me for money, I have money. But as long as my people require my help financially, I'm broke.
mm-hmm,
As long as my son is under the age of 16, I'm broke because I'm helping my people. They're not in the hood, thankfully. Some of my people have mental illnesses and they can't afford their prescriptions. Some of my people are in the military and they can't afford their boots. Some of my people, I'm, I, I help. I
mm.
help. That's how I balance myself.
So something that I started growing into was the idea of collaborating with as many people that are looking the right way as possible. Because something that I was trying to actually say also about that woman that I was talking about from a year ago is that I was becoming a coach in a sense. And I felt like she didn't acknowledge me because she was coming from a place where there's too many of us, or there's my followers and I don't want to be your friend, or there's whatever it is. When it's if she could have acknowledged me, then we could have built something together. Because I'm another person. I have mindset. It's not just coaching. I'm just growing, and everything we're doing is just a growth of who we are. So it's like all these people in our life. It's like beginning to realize how freaking strong they are in certain aspects, and how the things that they can offer that they don't even realize. Like empowering them to like collaborating with them to realize how freaking powerful they are in ways that they didn't even see it.
I mean, I try that. I try. I can. It depends on the person. It depends on the person. If they
Certainly.
don't, it depends. Yeah, it depends on where they are. Because if you can, if you know what I like to look at the parents. I like to look at what they were fed. I like to look at the reason that they're there. Did this person actually have a mom and a dad? Did they raise themselves? Because a lot of people do. Did they? Did people tell them that they were beautiful when they were growing up?
Mm.
If they don't have that, they're not going to see their greatness. They're not going to know themselves. If you don't know your parents, if they didn't have that, they really don't have a lot of opportunity most of the time to know their greatness. If you don't know your parents, a lot of the times you don't know yourself. And it's in totality. You know, that's the reason that you need to know yourself. Because if you know yourself, you know your limit as well as how beautiful you are mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and you know you know what you can do. You know why people should value you.
Yeah, and I think sometimes being that beacon of light, being that center, that person that's grown, it's kind of like you have the ability to spread your light to everyone in that sense that you know someone's strength maybe more than them. Like maybe they were brought up in this family, maybe they had all these experiences that didn't empower them, and if they're with you, you can see that for them and you can help them acknowledge what they're good at by asking them to do things that you know they're good at. And then maybe they do them and they're like, wow, I like that. Or maybe you just get into a conversation with them and they just talk. You know, it's like so easy to just be in your head and so easy to feel all alone. But if you are that beacon of light for all the souls around you just looking for the way, and if you can acknowledge who they are and their presence and experiences that they've lived and what they enjoy, and like you can just get them to be involved in a project, then like you can literally lift them up from where they were. You give them a new project to focus on. You give them a new focus. You give them a new thing to care about. You give them a new way to feel important. It's like you're giving importance to people.
Yep, and that's why we have college. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. New experience. I mean, I made I made a statement a while ago. You know, if you don't travel outside of your comfort zone, you really don't know yourself. You really can't be successful if you. I totally agree. I totally agree.
If you don't travel outside of your comfort zone, you're not going to be. But what I'm trying to say is like, if you don't travel out of your comfort zone, but the thing is this, my mom would tell me like, you're not alone in this world, Zach. Don't act like you are. And for the longest time, I would. And the thing is, it's what she was saying that I didn't get was like, sometimes I can be the one that gets someone out of their comfort zone. Like imagine you're in school and you're the cool kid that everyone cares about. That everyone like if you just freaking glance at someone, they're gonna feel like a little anxious or they're gonna feel excited that you looked at them and they fucking love it, right? If you are that cool kid in your life, you are literally lighting up everyone around you. Like you are getting them out of their comfort zone, out of their discomfort, because they're in discomfort. You're getting them into their comfort zone by being that beacon of light, looking at them and smiling and saying, "Hey, what are you up to?"
Right. That's the whole purpose. I mean, that's why I do what I do. I mean, that cliche. I'm trying to be what I didn't have when I needed it. So I totally,
Yeah.
I
And
totally
I think
feel
that's
that.
something a lot of people deal with on this path, which is loneliness. You know, the whole lone wolf, the whole I'm all alone, the whole. Because I mean, I was in lone wolf for a while, and I know a lot of people that have been in it. And in that place, you can create stories that are scary. In that place, you can create, you can just feel such a lack of power operating in a in union with other people, it's like there's such tremendous power and passion and excitement. It's like in numbers, everyone grows.
Right.
I think one way I found a lot of my balance is with my twin. And you know it's funny because these people that are in your life will check you, and they'll check you, and they'll be in your life to check you, and that's fucking beautiful because if they're checking you, you're being acknowledged in ways you could not acknowledge yourself. And when you're in this lone wolf place, you are not being checked, and that can lead to uh,
Here, and you didn't. And I don't know why Zach ended up getting disconnected. Why are there only 6 people in here? And we got a whole army out here. You guys are tripping.
hey, I don't. I was like, no.
Oh, man.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Donna, you be writing. I love Donna. She always gets on these lives.
There.
Like in the past, she used to get on the lives and write. I love everything Donna says. She's always like, like so with it. It's awesome. I'm gonna be right back. I need to get a charger for my phone. Otherwise, my phone's just gonna die. But just give me 1 second and talk about whatever you'd like. Maybe if you wanna like bring it more onto the rails of like where you're aiming for, that'd be so cool.
All right.
All right, be back. 1 second.
So, guys, you already know. If you don't know, it's AaroniMoses, the one, the great. I made a list. I made a giant list. This topic is about balance, you know. So, spending time with your loved ones, making money, knowing the information that is already in your flesh, investing your time in yourself, chasing your dreams, giving back your diet, socializing, using the 12 zodiacs to balance yourself spiritually, really getting to know yourself, healthy arrogance, healthy narcissism, healthy selfishness, learning how to be lower vibrational and learning how to build yourself out of that lower vibrationalism, you know, practicing the laws of rhythm, being a real Aries, being an Aries around Aries. I don't know what that means, but I wrote it down, so that must be good. Having those cracks in your armor, which is also knowing yourself, knowing that you can do with and without the people around, creating spirituality, creating spiritual moments out of lower vibration frequency. All right. Knowing that you need to be doing it like you're used to it. Do it like you're used to it. Knowing that you need love around you. And knowing that you need to cleanse your mind, body, and soul with them. And those are everything. So if you felt like you resonated with any of those topics that I wanted to address, leave a comment, share, call your mom up, let her know it's going down like Funky Town. And we're going to touch on all those subjects, if you will. All right, Zach's back. Let's do it. Wear your black.
Yep. Awesome. I heard you kicking ass. I was like, ooh. Like more like what like the flow you were on was kicking ass. I was like, ooh, that's like I know he's preaching right now. I love it. It's like you're in the flow with it. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Charlene,
man.
how can you do that? You can't just say all of them. What is that? We need something for the that. Come on.
All of them.
The Aries part. You spoke about Aries?
I did. I spoke about being in Aries around Aries, but I said I don't remember what that means. I just wrote it. You know, I don't. Because I take college notes when I think, so I don't write in full sentences all the time. I don't know that, but you know, I can revisit it. mentally and see if I can find out with that, man.
Okay, so we're speaking
Yeah.
about balance in balance being actually we were speaking about
Oh, I know
basically
what that
huh?
means. Sorry. It's being an Aries, and what it is when you spell the word boundaries, the word Aries is in boundaries. So learning to have balance within your boundaries. That's what that means. So it's not being an Aries around Aries, it's boundaries. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So what I was saying is we were speaking actually about becoming the balance in your interrelation in your relationships with everyone in your life. So it's almost like it's interesting because maybe the idea of being balanced like is the idea of like you yourself are balanced, but then we can zoom out and we can think, well, being balanced is creating balance in all of the relationships that we have in our life. And in a sense we can actually use people to create more balance, so we can create more interrelationships, we can create more relationships that basically balance out our life even more. Like if you want to build a business, then you need people that are interested in what you're offering. You need someone that had like you also probably need a team. So it's like all of this stuff, it's like the people are the ingredients of balance.
My response it's knowing, it's having that emotional intelligence. It's knowing that people have something that they need to give themselves while you can enhance it. And while they enhance it, they're going to be able to raise their vibration as well as the vibration of your goals to magnify what's going on in both of you guys' lives.
Mm.
A lot of us, for a lot of reasons, there needs to be a lot of interaction. There needs to be a lot of communication. There needs to be a lot of sharing of this video, for example. So it's knowing that, okay, if this person does this, that's going to give them more self-discipline. They're going to have to drink more water. They're going to have to go to sleep at a specific time. They're going to have to wake up at a specific, they're going to have to do something. There's no growth without trauma. Trauma requires growth. I mean, growth requires trauma.
That's interesting. I used to have this idea that critiquing myself would get me places, but as I've like where I've gone has shown me that getting places is actually being given. I mean, it's being given critique, yeah, but when I went through my path of like deep inner journeying for like a couple months, like 6, like there was a lot of trauma involved. And then like when I
Mhm.
look back, like I don't really think trauma is necessary. Like I actually really believe that you can cultivate your love and your embracing of other people through being honest with how you're making another person feel. But tell me why you think
Mm,
trauma is like necessary, and where
I mean,
someone can
dang,
receive
bro.
this trauma if they want to get into balance more.
All right. So we have something like reading. Do you remember how it felt to be illiterate?
No.
Okay. So, I mean, I just reflected on this today. Before I knew how to read, the world I lived in was just so confusing, and I knew everybody knew how to tell time, and it tied in. I knew they taught us how to learn how to read and tell time at the same, around the same time, within a couple months. So trauma would be learning a big word if you don't know how to read. That would be trauma to me. Little words make big words. The first word I ever learned how to read was the word cat. All right. Great thing was my mentor told me, great things come from you making small tweaks to your life every day. So as far as the trauma,
That's beautiful.
what,
That's
what
so beautiful what you just said.
thank you. What I understand, how I understand it is anything that is more than 50% different than what you do is traumatic. It doesn't have to be negative. There's positive trauma too. Things can be traumatic and it's a happy moment. It's a happy feeling. It doesn't have to be, oh, I got beat up or I got an F on a test for the first time. Those things are traumatic. But learning how to read, that's traumatic too. When you learn how to read, you can teach yourself anything in the world. You never need a teacher for the rest of your life.
Mm.
That's what learning how to read does for you. But I
That's
think that,
interesting because I think that that one you just said, like, that's like an unlocking of potential. Whereas I see trauma
right.
as like a shock and a feeling like you can't trust or like you can't like you look at the world around you like it's not as grandiose as you thought it was when I hear of trauma.
hmm No, there's happy trauma. I mean, something
I get what you mean though when you're talking about like that big like learning that big letter before you learn the small letters. That's so explain to me how you think like do you think it would be better to learn the big letter and then that would make you more willing to see the small letters or do you think you could just see the small letters and get up to that big letter?
personally, I like to go for the big. I'm an Aries. So I like to start like my favorite video game is Dragon Ball Budokai 3. So I like to start at the hardest level when I download chess. On my when I play chess, I like to start at level like 7 and learn what level I'm actually supposed to be on. So if
Mm-hmm.
I start at level 7, I'm like, bro, this dude just murdered me. Okay, well let me start at level 6. I think I'm at level 2. Then I play level 2, and then I go for 3. I stay on 3 and 4 until I can get to level 7. That's just my thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I go about my life. I like to make sure that I can handle the worst, and then I like to go to the level where I can humble myself, where I know for real, this is not where I need to be. That's just how I've been my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I think I go for the pain, I go for the trauma, honestly, to make sure, like, that's just me.
To make
I
sure
don't
that
like,
you're not at that standard yet.
right, right.
Okay, yeah. So then, I guess, but when it comes to trauma, um, like feeling completely, like trauma that makes you feel completely powerless, in like that kind of trauma. Like, say someone's a rape victim, and they feel like they were completely powerless. Like maybe from being raped, they realized how they could be doing things better in certain ways. Like they can see however they could have been more responsible and they can become more responsible in like an empowering way rather than like and maybe they can begin looking at people differently in an empowered light rather than a disempowered light. But um do you think that it would be that like say someone went through trauma and got through all of it and became a very empowered person, do you think that someone can go through like someone doesn't like there could be a person that did not go through any rape, but they became just as powerful as that person that went through that trauma?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I I think that you know what, this is the point I wanted to speak on exactly. We have people who pay for those types of experiences. We have people, we have third world country conditions in this country, in this great country that we named America. Detroit, Crenshaw, South Side of Chicago, Roseland, Inglewood, Houston, Florida, Bed-Stuy, New York, Kansas City. We have third world country conditions. in this country. And people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars. Harvard, Yale, you know, a lot of prestigious, reputable, respectable institutions to think like drug dealers, to think like pimps, prostitutes, hoes, hookers, kidnappers, robbers. People pay to have this mind for a reason. So to answer your question, I could have said yes, but I will say that people pay to have the mind of a pimp. People pay to have people who have never been through anything in their lives. People who have been on yachts. They ate, the $300 sushi plates. They've only worn the finest of garments. People pay for these experiences. Adidas, Nike, all of these CEOs, they pay to have the mind of somebody who has walked down the streets and have seen dead bodies, who have seen their father get killed in their faces, who have seen crackheads shuffling around the street. People pay to think like these people. That's what all business people pay for that experience.
So when
Believe
you
it or
say
not.
people pay for what do you mean when you say people pay for the to have the experience of like crackheads like
to
shuffling?
to to think like that biggest drug dealer on the block, to think like Gucci Mane, to think like MG, to
Mm,
think like Bugatti, to
yeah, yeah.
think like um Andre Taylor,
But it's
the guy
different
who
between being someone that is the trauma inducer and being someone that is receiving the trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are
no,
paying someone to become a kingpin and a drug dealer that's getting people like hooked on like heroin or something per se, like maybe you're coming from a place that's like so cold and you don't know you don't have the dignity or the self-respect or the integrity to understand what it is that you're doing and how it's actually wrong and how it's impacting others. You might not see people as people. You might see people as money that's gonna you might see people as that yacht. You know what I'm saying? You don't see people as like suffering and dying. You don't see the love between a mother and a child. You don't see the excruciating pain that a child feels like
hmm
when their mother is hooked on crack and and battering them because right now they're coming off of the crack or something and the kid's like bleeding from the mouth and like afraid to come home or afraid to leave or doesn't know what to do in that moment because their mom just beat the crap out of them and they're just sitting in that experience right then and there. The person that's selling those drugs probably doesn't understand those excruciating moments. But so that person is so numb. But then you look at people that like would anyone pay to be that little kid is what I'm saying.
yeah, no, it's not paying to, it's paying to think like that. People, people, okay, that was dark. So
No, 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 I
people go to
totally I
school.
totally agree with what you're
I'm not,
saying.
I'm not
I
saying what
totally agree with
you
what you're
were.
saying.
People pay to people. eh, Knowledge is the most valuable thing, in my opinion. Well, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, knowledge is the most valuable thing in this world. People pay to think like God. People go to school to be pastors. People go to school to learn how to think like whatever it is that they want. For you to do specific types of, for you to get to a specific level, the phrase new level, new devil. For you to get to a specific level, we'll say for we'll say for Newports, we'll say for Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton owns Hennessy. You know this Hennessy is killing millions of people. You know cigarettes are killing millions of people. How could you put yourself in a position for you to say, how can we kill more people? You have to think like a freaking, you have to be a nut to do that. You have to
You have to
pay
be dead cold.
to have the same experience as somebody. Exactly. You have to pay. Apathy is learned. That's not natural. The law, just going back to what we spoke on before, laws come from the heart. You and I, our understanding of how we should speak to each other
that wasn't necessarily always, everything wasn't taught. It's genetic. It's just, it's there. We have a little special package, bling. When you're born, look, don't call this person this. Don't do this. He's gonna be happy if you're happy, okay? If you punch somebody in the face, they're gonna be mad because you would be mad. So don't do it. You have to, these people pay to learn how to be cold. And the thing about it is, people are born into situations where they're required to be cold to survive. And people go to Harvard, go to Yale, go to different reputable, representable institutions to learn how to be a Pookie and a Ray Ray, but still know 4, 5, 6, 7 syllable words and operate in specific environments. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying people pay to learn how it feels to be raped. That's not what I said.
Mm-hmm.
But they are putting themselves in that situation where they have that same experience.
I would say that the people that are going this, like, if you go through Harvard, Yale, and you become someone like that, I would say it's probably good. It's cool because that relates with earlier in the conversation when we were talking about how there, you know, when we were talking about honesty and integrity and being in the heart. I think that these people that go to Yale or Harvard and build a business that's so cold-minded, I think that they're coming from a place that's so cold, and it comes from trauma and shock that they've never been released from. So it's like, how can they be released from that trauma? And also, it's cool because then it goes to the other thing about business, the idea that business is a cold sport. When business doesn't have to be a cold sport, it could be all heart-to-heart feelings. One of the I did this program. I paid a couple $100s to learn about uh, how to create Facebook groups, and I felt like the dude making the dude that created that program, like he didn't care really about us, but the main thing that I recognize is it's all about building relationships. Like, if you build relationships, then you are thinking about everyone that you're impacting. And if you're impacting everybody, then you're coming from that perspective rather than the persuasion or copywriting perspective that people pay $10,000 for a 3-day seminar to learn about. And it's about how you can inject someone's mind with an idea that they didn't have. You should buy this car. Why the fuck am I buying this car? Oh, because, you know, and it's because the idea behind persuasion and copywriting is you can, well, not to give it a horrible name, but some people express it this way and some people also take it this way. And it shows you where I was at a certain point in my life. Whereas, like, you know, I took it like, oh, this is a great way of selling stuff, rather than, oh, I want to impact as many people as possible with the love that I have. And I want to be able to express myself the best I can and express what I have to share the best I can.
I the business, it, again, I'm gonna go back to what I said originally, man. I want to give it, I want to put it, I want to operate where it's a self-sustaining entity. I want whatever I attach myself to, that brand, I want it to be so it is a non-for-profit. I want it to be self-sustaining. I want it to have its own breath, lungs, heart. But business is just, it's based on deception, bro. Bro, I sold drugs from when I was from 13 to 22. And then I sold drugs twice when my son was in the process of being born. It's lying. It's lying. So look, if I have a store, if I say, look, I buy I buy Snickers for 25 cents because I buy so many, but I'm gonna sell it to these people for $1. That's deception. That's deception. It's supposed to be fair trade. So it would be your village is 3 miles away from my village, right? We grow apples, you grow oranges. You say, look, our oranges, they're not really. Our orange tree was all jacked up, and we had a storm 3 days ago, and it got struck by lightning, and I'm like, yeah, I heard that, man. I thought that was you. Are you okay? And you're like, yeah, we're okay, but you need some apples, bro. So when the other orange tree gets back popping, we'll break you off with some oranges. And I say, you know what? Take all the apples that you want. We're good. Everybody's healthy. It was just all doing push-ups. Take the apples. When your oranges get back popping, and I go, look, bro, we got some pregnant women over here. They need some vitamin C. Can we have some oranges? You say, yeah, take your oranges, bro. You gave me the apples. You remember when you gave me the apples 3 months ago? Take some oranges. And I take some oranges. That that is nature. That's synchronous. That's synergetic. That's not business. That's not, trickery, deception, being a shyster. That's not what that is. That's not, I bought this for 25 cents, but they don't know that. Let me sell it to them for $1. Let me put some taxes on it. We're supposed to help each other because it just feels good, because that's what nature does for us.
Mm-hmm.
That, that's how we're supposed to do. I, it's not even my opinion. I think personally, I think business is unnatural. I know business is unnatural. It's evil. It's nasty. It's based on deception. It's based on that 48 laws of coward, not power. There's no power in deception. You're lying to the people. You kind of don't need to be around if you're going to lie. What I do, I'm lying to the people by saying that my services are only valued at $40. Because the information, you can take the information to become a millionaire. So I should really charge you $1 million for it. I only charge you $40 for it. So I'm lying to myself by giving you my information for $40. And you can take the information and do whatever you please with it. You can take the information and regurgitate it to somebody else. You can write a book because I go deep. So really, and that's just what I do.
Mm.
That's just
Do you
my
think
perception.
that when it comes to servicing others or creating products for other people, do you think it should just be a break-even deal?
I think the universal purpose that we all have is to leave everything equal or better than we found it. So yeah, it's gonna come back to you. It's gonna come back to you. Use the apple oranges analogy I gave to you. One day you're gonna need some apples. One day I'm gonna need some oranges. It's gonna happen.
But I think there's also different levels of relationships. Like
Correct.
like you were saying earlier, how you have a relationship with people outside of your unit. You respect the other people, but you can't necessarily offer them money that you have because that money is being held for you and your unit. And say there was going to be someone that says, "Hey, you know, I if you give me money, I can invest it, and I guarantee you there's going to be an investment on it. And maybe you need to also give me 5 hours of your time." So that relationship would be different compared to someone that comes to you for information that you've gained through experience, and you can help them grow as a being instantly from that information. Maybe you have connections with certain people and you can connect them to that person, and that connection can really boost their entire life. So it's like these different situations that you're in, I would say, really impact your ability to create a prosperous. No, it really changes the dynamic of what you're trading. Because you're trading not just that product to that person, but you're trading that product to that person. And that person is different for each person. And maybe they don't want that product, but if they choose to buy it, then they're choosing to buy it because it's right for them. And if it's not that right for them, they might not enjoy it, and they might realize where they were lacking integrity. Or if it's really right for them, they might come to you and they might say, "Hey, man, I want to offer you way more. What can you offer me? What do you have on your shelf?" I just want to see what's on your shelf. And then that would open up a conversation for you to look at them, regular person. Because now you have that relationship that they just opened with you. And when they do that, then you're like, wow, I can connect you with him. I actually can't even help you, but I can connect you with him. And maybe in that moment, you wouldn't make them pay anything. You see? So like each thing is kind of like its own transaction. And it's like, I think when you make a general idea that selling something isn't right, it disarms your ability to create something that's incredibly powerful. But then what you said last was that you have incredible knowledge and that you have a lot.
Let me get my gun.
I'm not gonna lie, he was snapping on phone and grave. He was snapping. You already saw, everybody saw my facial expressions. And I don't make that facial expression for everybody. You know what I mean? Bro. Hold on. Let me get my little 15 seconds. Let me invite some of my people. Let me get a couple of my... Cause bro was doing it. He was doing it. Let me see if I can find my brother from all the mothers that I never had. What? Why is this not working? Jesus Christ. What's going on? Hold on. Add viewers to be in your broadcast. I don't know if bro's phone died or... Because my shit's on 12%. I'm not even going to hold you. Carrie, you want to get on and talk about this real quick? Kayla, you want to come in and talk about this real quick? Kayla? I might do you. All right, man. So, la la. All right, so we're gonna end it here because I'm a normal person. I gotta go to work tomorrow, and this is usually the time I go to take a shower. I tried to add you, bro. I don't know why it's effing up, but I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Business is I get it for 25 cents and I sell it to you for $1. That's deception. All right. If I get it for 25 cents and I sell it to you for $1, that is deception. How you doing, baby girl? How you doing, Pookie Pookie? If it's not fair trade, it's deception. When I give people readings for $40 for a little baby, $40, I spend $40 on a 6-pack of Miller High Life, a pint of some Hennessy, a pack of Newport 100s, and some Reggie weed. I spend that $40 like that, okay? The information I give you, it can be used for you to make millions, billions, trillions, a gazillion, okay? That is my point. Now, Zach, I think that you can be a businessman and be spiritual at the same time. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying that because I grew up, I'm telling you, from 13 to 22, I was a drug dealer, bro. And I was committed to being the best drug dealer I could be. The number one rule in doing anything involved with the streets, drug dealing, robbing, kidnapping, being a shooter, you have to understand the first thing is that you're not going to do this for the rest of your life. There needs to be an exit strategy. And with business, you have to have an exit strategy. What is going to be your exit strategy to being a businessman? Because business is going to kill you, just like being a game, RP Nipsey Hussle, just like being a game banger, just like being a career robber, just like being a career stick-up kid, which is a robber, but it's different. Just like being anything involved in organized crime, you need an exit strategy first. And if anybody doesn't tell you that, they don't love you. They're not gang and they can't hang. Okay? When you deal with the business, I love you to the bone, bro, because you got that. You got that, bro. And you're a pretty nigga. And I don't tell not that many dudes that. But you're a pretty nigga. You probably on AaroniMoses status. But look, bro, if you're gonna be in business, you need an exit strategy, bro. Because business is evil. 100%. It's evil. It's based on deception. It's based on trickery. It's based on lying, stealing, taking advantage. It's based on that. If you want to be a good businessman, what you need to do, read that 48 Laws of Coward. Okay? And I swear to God, I'll try to bring him in. I'll try to bring homie back in again. And now you want to be readers. Hey, what's up?
Hello, how are
I'm
you?
doing fine as wine from the front and from the behind.
Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's right. I've been, extra relaxing, if you know what I mean. So,
I got you.
right.
Not the nose, but yeah. You already know I'm drinking my
So
alkaline
what's
vodka.
what happened?
I said you already know I'm drinking my alkaline vodka.
I know that's right. It took me off. I was like, dang, you done with me that quick? What?
Nah, I don't know what's going on. You good?
So I've been really digging what you've been saying for the last couple of conversations with the previous gentleman. He was real dope.
That dude is all kinds of heroin put together, bro. Yeah, we're gonna go
Yeah,
live again very soon.
most. Yeah, most step you definitely should. God, look at all my friends. They're all listening in this. This is
Oh,
wonderful.
possible.
So what's the word for the week? Like, what would you say to everybody watching for a bit of like almost general advice? Number one, I want to touch on what you were saying earlier with the laws of Ma'at. For those who do not know, please educate yourself in every way that you possibly can, because if you could go back just to Egyptian times, not even Sumerian, not even further back than that, but if you can at least go to Egyptian times and try to learn what you can from them, you would be incredibly enlightened. Like it's absolutely insane. Like I really truly think that these people were real people, like not just something that they prayed to. These were real people that walked amongst them, that had like special abilities, all this thing, blah 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 blah. But you would learn so much from the way that they lived, and especially the laws of Ma'at. And I heard you mention like there were six laws that you weren't allowed to speak about that you needed to find for yourself, whomever was watching. And I truly suggest that everybody, if you are at that level where you can do things like that, do that. Most definitely, because I'm going to be trying to do that. But yeah, anyways, back to what I was saying. What would be the most general advice that you could give to everybody for the week? Just something positive, but not also just nice.
I think that everybody needs to learn. I think everybody needs to educate themselves on the zodiac. I think that people I think that people need to research. I think people need to fucking read and don't be stupid.
Facts. Absolutely.
Okay, it's gonna tie in together. I'm kind of long-winded, but okay. So we have something called organizational learning disorders. Okay, and there's to some people, just like the zodiac, not zodiac chakras. Some people think there's seven. Some people think there's 13 or more. So I think you need to learn about organizational learning disorders. One, my favorite two, one of them is using the word boss, the word leader, when it's convenient, but not really doing it, not really
Right.
leading, not really being a boss.
Right.
Another
People
one,
that, and that means what he's trying to say is like if you're like, I'm a leader, are you truly a leader or do you think that you're a leader?
exactly. And then the other one is learning from experience, but your experience doesn't mean shit. So upgrading your DNA, upgrading your mind, your body, your soul. So one of my favorite rappers, Famous Dex, said he got where he got doing what he already did, what he did. So why would he try to maintain his lifestyle doing something that's old?
Right.
He needed to upgrade
You're
his
constantly
program.
changing. And if that means that you don't like to paint anymore and you'd rather, I don't know, read more, so be it. You change. These are the things that you're meant to do. You're not supposed to do the same things your whole life.
Mhm.
Because if that was the case, I would be this bad kid that ran the streets and like did whatever the fuck I wanted to when I wanted to. And that's most definitely not the person that I am today. Nor would I ever want to be that again.
Exactly. So I mean, one of the purposes of the zodiac is for you to know how to operate through life.
Right.
Okay, even you don't have to, even if it's the seasons. People take the seasons and they flip it. Winter is a motivator. Your body, when it gets cold, what does it do? It naturally tries to heat itself up.
Right.
If you shiver for a reason. So learning how to operate through the zodiac would be my best advice. And that's
Right.
it. You have to
So,
check.
guys, look up your signs, and I don't just mean your signs. Try to find Cafe Astrology is a really great site. You can just
Mhm.
type all your information in there, and it will give you your birth chart along with quite detailed descriptions of what your moon in Aries or in the fifth house or whatever it might be. It tells you and it breaks it down really well. So try to go to that and then learn from that. But I would definitely suggest doing that first. But I agree with that. That was a good one.
So what will be yours? I mean, before you start, that the whole situation you got going on, I think that's beautiful for you. I think that's a great color. I think it complements your skin and your hair and all of that, bro.
Well, I honestly fucking I hate my pasty skin. I should be much darker, but I'm just really scared of
Really?
going into this. Yeah, I'm like American Indian and Italian. I'm like fucking super Mediterranean, so I should most definitely be dark. But I'm
So
scared
you
of
can
cancer.
tan. All
So yeah, so well,
right.
I'm a lot actually. I'm like a fucking mutt. I actually just found Womani Gypsy in my blood. But thank you.
What's
I
up?
appreciate that. Good looking out. You always look great. You know that. But I don't know. My words of the day is to before you react to certain things, take a second and really try to put yourself in those person's shoes. That I mean, honestly, there is nothing that's hard about being nice, even if it's not easy. It's a lot easier to say nice words and than bad words. And I really think that we need to really try as a human race to stop being judgmental and jumping the gun. And you know what? I'm going to fight this person or they've disrespected me. But go to that person and be like, look, man, I really didn't fucking like that. Just be honest. And that comes with being truthful and living a good life and just I don't know. I hate the hate that we have on humans. Like, and I mean, I'm not saying gossiping is good because I don't think gossip is anything in any way, shape, or form productive. But gossiping to your certain special someone that you feel protected with and letting all of that anger out to somebody is wonderful. And I think you should do that. I think you should have a person that you can be that gross part that you don't show to anybody else because that shouldn't be shown in the first place. But to
Right.
that person, say they're laying you out, you know what? How hard is it to be like, okay, no worries, and then walk away and then do what the fuck you were doing in the first place? Just, be nice and move on. Those are my words. I know they're very simple, but please be nicer to people. That is so, so important. It not only reflects on how they live the rest of their day, it absolutely would make you feel great knowing that you did the right thing. There was no way in shape or form that you did anything wrong. You did what you should have done and just been a good person.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's big. You can't be big. You can't be small if you big. You
Right,
can't be big if you're small. So
right,
make sure that you let that person know what you did. It was small. Being
right.
nice is
I didn't
being
appreciate that. It wasn't cool. I don't ever expect and I demand better from that. So, and one person told me out of the joke, she said somebody, one of our customers, we work in the restaurant business, and one of her customers was laying out on her. And she goes, I really thought better of you. And the guy
mm,
was just like, whoa, like he didn't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? He had no idea because what could you say to that? You know what I mean?
exactly. Right, right,
Just
right.
people expect themselves to be good, to be better. And then for somebody to say that and then be like, damn, you know what? That they were probably right. But anyways,
Great, great. Wow. We should probably do this. Yeah, that's cool.
we
But
should definitely do this again. Are you kidding me?
9:45. Yeah, I got about an hour. I gotta get ready to go to sleep so I can
Yeah,
get back
I
to the
definitely gotta
plantation
be going
tomorrow.
to sleep because it's 10:45 where I'm at.
Oh, you're lucky. You're on the East Coast. I'm in the Midwest.
Yep, 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 yep.
That's
All right,
cool.
my
So
darling.
everybody, what's the name of your group? Spiritual
Uh,
Guides and
spiritual guides and readers, please join readers of all levels. I don't care if this is the first time you bought a deck of cards. Come. We love everybody. I don't demand anything specific, just that you are loving and supportive and not racist and not political. I don't like politics. So, but please join my group.
all right, that's awesome. So everybody, astrology, be nice, be prepared to change, be fluid, be creative. Don't be racist. RP Nipsey Hussle. Fuck Donald Trump. Get this money, all right? And
I know that's
join
right.
Spiritual Readers. And have a good night tonight.
Yes. Have a good night. Peace, guys.
Peace.